Welcome to ThinkTech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm Jay Fidell.
And I'm Duke Oishi.
In our show this week, we'll take a look at the High Tech Development Corporation's 2012 Holiday Science and Tech Fair.
Tonight, we'll talk with some of the tech developers and entrepreneurs there, and we'll check out who came and some of the apps and jobs being offered.
The 2012 Holiday Science and Tech Fair took place at the Japanese Cultural Center on Beretania Street in Mo'iliili on December 28th. It was well attended by the tech community. We went because we wanted to check out who was there and what they were offering. We were also hungry, and yes, there was lots of food to keep things going. The fair was supposed to end at 7 p.m., but people didn't want to leave, and we didn't get out of there until 9 p.m.
We found the room at the Japanese Cultural Center crowded and filled with a roar of excited presentations and a din of networking. A number of apps developers were there, and they demonstrated their apps on large monitors. The attendees were impressed and animated.
The presenters in the apps showcase demonstrated a number of smartphone apps with exotic names and remarkable functionalities like Tapiki, Happy Hour, Aku Shaper, Bike Rack App, Free, No Can Win, Goma Games, DRC, Toe Choice, My Mercy, Government Data, Makana, Engage Stage, TLET, MailGap, and Unicam. The creativity was out of the box and in evidence all around the room.
The sponsors for the fair and the software app showcase were a notable group of companies in the tech industry and who otherwise support tech development in Hawaii, including Akimeka, the audiovisual company, Bishop & Company, Blue Startups, Data House, Decision Research, Diagnostic Laboratories, and Hawaiian Airlines. Thanks to all of them for their support of this event.
We had a chance to walk around the fair and speak with a number of the tech companies, developers, sponsors, visitors, and the firms offering jobs that were there. Here's some footage of our walk and talk at the fair.
The audiovisual company, as a technology firm, we deal a lot with new and emerging technologies in the audiovisual realm. So anything from high-end monitors, sound systems, control systems. We deal with a lot of technology. So it's good for us to come here and show our presence to the people of Hawaii, because not many people realize how technical audiovisual systems can be.
We're here to hopefully interest recent graduates or not so recent graduates in working in technology at the DOE. We have probably a lot of technology development and implementation that people weren't aware of. We have probably the largest network in the state that ties all the schools on all the islands together. So we have positions related to wide area networking and all the intrusion detection and malware detection that goes along with that, and all the bandwidth optimization. So we have positions for developer positions, junior developers, senior developers, integration. We do a lot of in-house application development. We also bring in third-party applications for where they exist and meet our needs. And there's a lot of integration that goes along with that.
We've been partners with HTDC for maybe a dozen years now with the Holiday Tech Fair. We've been here every year helping drive people, the line of people that came home to come check out the local tech companies for jobs. This year, though, they've added something very exciting, the application showcase. So it just so happens our company is building, we're involved with a couple different apps, so we're here to show that today. With the mobile technologies, the overhead is so much lower. It's really a matter of, can you find the skills? The funding requirements are much less. So I think it's really a good fit for Hawaii.
I was an engineer by trade, joined the Navy, was involved in the technology side of the Navy for 30 years. And then when I came back to the islands, got very involved in trying to invigorate science and technology here in the islands. My sense is that we need something to literally energize small business here. Lots of reasons, perhaps in the past, why technology pieces haven't worked here. Tax structure, perhaps, lots of reasons. But now is the time, especially now.
What is Blue Startups, and why are we wearing the same shirt? So Blue Startups is a venture accelerator, and we just launched. Basically, what we do is we invest money in the early stage startups, business ideas, and provide a mentorship program for them. It's a 12-week program, and help them get their business from one point to an accelerated next point to help them with success with their business. The founder is Hank Rogers, who is with Tetris.
Okay.
Obviously, Tetris headquarters is in Honolulu, and that's where our offices are. So we have the whole 17th floor of Harbor Court, and we've created this amazing space in the offices for this accelerator program, where we're going to be bringing in 5 to 10 early stage startups into the offices, so about 15 to 30 people for this 12-week program. It's going to be kind of like summer camp meets like science camp. It's just going to be awesome.
It's crazy.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And helping all these small businesses get to that next level.
Nice. And do you have any partners like the Box Jelly?
Well, more and more because of phone applications, because of smart pads and iPads, and technology is becoming part of our everyday life, every moment, every hour, every second, and businesses are evolving to deal with that situation. And defense is using it, agriculture is using it, but we have to become more strategic, more deliberate, so that we can get a better result. Instead of this almost organic approach of touch and feel, touch and go, HTDC can share the experiences and the challenges of other people who have made and achieved some success with people starting out. So I think that's going to help create a lot of synergy and provide more opportunity and hope for
Right.
more people.
I think the ecosystem concept is important, where you can't just have good resources in different places. We have to stack them up. Your idea of having
Housing,
affordable housing
yeah.
near the workplace and making sure that workers are trained in a relevant manner.
Yeah, and this is going to help us with really, hopefully, diversifying our economy, reversing the brain drain. But we have to reach critical mass. We gotta reach scale so that there are more jobs for young people, so that more people want to do business in Hawaii. And the roadblocks, we keep saying it, there's so many roadblocks, so we get stuck on process, but we have to be focused on vision and achieving what we've said we want to achieve. And so HTDC is critical in that.
I came here to take a look to see what the best and brightest new technologies are out there. We're mostly a defense contractor, and we're always looking for the latest things that we can bring forward to the Department of Defense. And we're better to do it than a technology outlet like this.
And what kind of experiences you had so far? You met some people, you looked at some of the booths and some of the entrepreneurs. What did you find?
Well, there's a number of interesting things, a number of areas of computer apps, but also some of the old classic defense stuff. There's a couple of companies that are doing healthcare record modernization, which is going to be transferable to the commercial industry, and we have some companies that are doing some audio stuff and video, all kinds of interesting things, and I'm going to be interested to see what I can transform into the defense industry.
I've become a dedicated fan of something called the Tea Fairy, and ever since I learned about her, I'm always trying to look like her, and she's got pink hair, blue dress, and nice wings, because you know what she does? She travels all over the world, and she collects tea leaves from tea farmers in all kinds of countries, Japan and China, and she delivers them to our customers directly to their door.
And your customers are?
They are tea lovers. So we got customers in the US, and we also are shipping tea to over 15 different countries.
And your company is Tealet.
Tealet, like outlet for tea.
And it's here in Honolulu.
Yeah, we're based here in Honolulu. Born in the box jelly.
That's fantastic. Born
Yep.
in the box jelly.
Yep.
I was lucky that I went away and came back.
Yes.
And I think that's definitely one answer.
Yeah.
One answer is to go to Silicon Valley work for a big company, build these things, cut your teeth, at Apple, at
Get
Google.
the mainland out of your system.
Get the mainland out of your system, learn a whole lot, just absorb everything and come back to Hawaii and then do it here. And that's exactly what I did. I was in Silicon Valley for 8 years, worked at a bunch of small companies and big companies. I worked for Cisco, and I learned a whole lot that I would never have learned had I stayed here. Because, where else am I going to find a local version of Apple, for example? And then learn those things and then come back here and then do them here. So, one easy answer is go away, learn, absorb as much as you can, and come back.
And then hire.
And then grow, and then hire, right?
Teach, grow,
inspire, show what's possible, show that it's possible to do it, and then do it. Yeah, exactly.
My name's Mark Chung. I'm looking for a job, so I'm a job seeker. I own Just Rip surfboards, and so I'm a surfer.
And you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, I am an entrepreneur, and I'm looking for a job to offset the losses.
Which one is the hobby?
Yeah, I know, right? But it's all good fun, though. Yeah, and I really like the job fair. I've met a lot of good people, and there seem to be some really good positions that I think that they're interested in me, and I'm interested in them. So it's really neat, and it's kind of a pleasure to be here. I see you on TV all the time.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, check that out.
Okay. Well, now you're going to see yourself on TV.
Yeah, that's what's scaring me right there. We don't want that video to get out.
So far, you're doing fine.
Okay, good. Great.
We're going to have our own dedicated pipe. It doesn't matter if it's at 10 at night and everyone's online. We're going to have this asynchronous up and down dedicated speed. Can't you tell? I'm jumping. We actually got a team again. So you know how we used to start off with 5 people? We had like Brandon, Hassan, and Devin, and they all slowly left. But we finally got a new GM. We got the first place winner of last startup weekend on our team, and then we got a couple excellent interns from Hogan Entrepreneur Club, and so we've finally been able. After the build out, we were really on the defensive mode. Like, okay, we kind of overextended ourselves. It was just me, Ray, trying to do this, and Blue. We were like, getting crunked down. But after getting the loan secured and then moving forward with that, and now we're building that team. Now we're going on the offensive. Let's just say no longer defense. We're going offensive this year. 2013 is going to be huge. This is going to be big. I'm excited.
I don't know about you, but when I used to live in a high-rise building, I would come downstairs and I would see that cork board with the little push pins saying, that there's a unit for sale or a parking lot, parking space available for rent. Or I would walk around the building and there'd be these scotch-taped signs that would say, that we're going to have a pool closure this weekend. I thought it was kind of tacky, so I invented a better way. And so this is a product I call the Luxy board, and the Luxy board is meant for Class A buildings. And so Class A luxury living communities, so they can replace all those tacky signs, scotch tape, and make the lives of their tenants and their staff more enjoyable. So in that vein, this is the product. Over here we have our announcements. So things such as next month's fumigation schedule, and it's touchscreen. Isn't that cool?
I'm here along with Bert in trying to present people, especially on the developer side, on using more open data. If we can get the developer community, I think we can force the state into looking, and the city into releasing more data sets that we can build upon. What I'd like to try and do eventually is to create more of a combination of Kickstarter and reverse pitch type of thing. And so you could have departments or nonprofits presenting what they would like to see built, and having the small hyper-local type of developers actually go in and do it. So rather than thinking big like the accelerators are and looking at scale across, Asia and the rest of the nation, I think if we could focus on civic apps specific to Hawaii, I think there's a possibility of it to be successful in the long run.
We design portable electronics or any kind of products for our clients. So a client will come to us with an idea, concept, and we'll do the electrical design, the mechanical design, the software design, and all the design, all the way up to manufacturing for them. So when we deliver our design to the client at the end, they can take it to any manufacturer they want, and they can build a device for them.
We have a CAD/CAM system that designs
surfboards, and then we sell a machine around the world that shapes the boards. All the dimensions that, that sort of make a board. I mean, you can, little kids are rewriting boards from, we made boards 4.5 feet, 5 feet, all the way to, stand-up boards go up to 18 now. There is one other main competitor on the software side, and then on the machine side, there are, I would say, a few more. We're probably the biggest.
HTDC's 2012 Holiday Science and Tech Fair was a great experience and reminiscent of earlier enthusiasm in the development of Hawaii's tech industry. At the same time, it was an expression of a new energy, something we're seeing more and more of these days, perhaps like what we saw a few weeks ago in the Eat the Street Festival in Kaka'ako.
The fair was a window on a new vital generation in Hawaii, a generation that's determined to make their lives and fortunes here and to improve their community and the state. A generation that's capable, competent, and focused on building better mousetraps, a better economy, and a more self-reliant society, built around innovation, creativity, and collaboration. It was great to see it and to be part of it.
We admire and appreciate the efforts of CEO Yuka Nagashima and her staff at the High Tech Development Corporation for putting this event together. We look forward to more events like this and to following the promise and ascendancy of this new generation. ThinkTech will be there.
In short, the experience of attending the fair was uplifting. There are new tech and community leaders emerging among us, and this phenomenon is worthy of our closest attention and encouragement. We are in a new time now, especially with the appointment of 40-year-old Senator Brian Schatz to Hawaii's delegation in Washington. This is a time for us all to follow and participate in what's happening. Do you feel the energy, Duke?
I feel it, Jay, and I'm glad we went. If you want to know more about what's going on at the High Tech Development Corporation, visit htdc.org. If you want to know more about HTDC's Holiday Science and Tech Fair or the apps that were showcased there, or if you want to download any of those apps, visit htdc.org/2012apps. You'll be glad you did.
And now let's take a look at the ThinkTech calendar of events going forward.
ThinkTech's 4 to 5 p.m. Drive Time radio series on KGU 760 AM continues this week. Tune in to 760 AM for great shows every business week and raise your awareness on tech, energy, Asia, and more on ThinkTech Radio.
On January 24th, the Hawaii Venture Capital Association and ThinkTech will present the 2013 Annual Entrepreneur of the Year and the Deal of the Year awards at a luncheon program at the Plaza Club. Sign up for these programs on hvca.org.
And now, here's Bill Spencer, president of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association, with this week's Spensation.
Bill, we have a very important event coming up on January 24th, Thursday. Tell us about it. This one's going to be important.
You're right, Jay. This is our Entrepreneur and Deal of the Year award ceremony. This is where we take the opportunity to look at our entrepreneurial community and pick some folks that represent the best and the brightest of the group. And it's a wonderful chance to really acknowledge entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship for the contribution to the community. And let the community know that, in our eyes anyway, these folks are local heroes. They deserve a lot of credit for taking on the job of building businesses, increasing the employment of their businesses, generating capital, raising capital, and even in some cases spinning off businesses from existing ones. It's a great opportunity to let the community know who some of these movers and shakers are.
Why don't you tell us who's going to get the awards, Bill?
Sorry, Jay, that's top secret. I don't even let the press know until the day of the event. But I can tell you that our keynote speaker is a really incredible guy. His name is Dan Friedman. He's relatively new to Hawaii, but he picked Hawaii because he really likes the environment here for entrepreneurship. Now, he's a very, very experienced serial entrepreneur himself. He started a business in the network and security arena several years ago and sold that business to McAfee. And that's really what is a big part of entrepreneurship. It's not just starting a business, but it's what we call the liquidity event. Dan was also the co-founder of a highly successful venture firm in Canada called LaunchWorks, which had several liquidity events, including the sale of a company that had internet access in more hotel rooms than any other company in the world. So Dan is a very interesting guy, and I'm sure our audience will love to hear what he has to say about entrepreneurship in Hawaii.
It's great to have a program like this. You're right that making heroes, identifying heroes is an encouragement for everybody else. So we really need to do this once in a while just to demonstrate that it's worth being in the industry, that there are giants, role models in the industry. We should know about them. We should follow them. We should be encouraged by them.
See you Thursday, January 24th at the Plaza Club. You can register at hvca.org.
See you there. And here's a popular piece I recently wrote for the Honolulu Star-Advertiser about the need to resurrect an inter-island ferry for the islands. It's time to resurrect an inter-island ferry. The sinking of Hawaii Superferry will soon be 4 years old. Are we ready to try again? It was a visionary idea that would have given us logistics we never had before. For a modest fare, you could take your car, family, pets, and produce to another island. Small businesses and farmers could go to market for a fraction of the cost by plane or barge. And you could lavish your soul on endless vistas of ocean and sky. But for loading, Superferry required state ramps. This triggered an environmental impact statement under our Supreme Court's interpretation of the Hawaii Environmental Protection Act. Linda Lingle exempted Superferry from the EIS, but the Supreme Court invalidated that exemption. Superferry launched anyway, and after some protests, a Maui judge enjoined it from operating without an EIS. The legislature adopted a bill allowing large-capacity ferry vessels to operate before the requisite EIS was done. Lingle signed it into law, but in March 2009, the Supreme Court invalidated that too. The decision dealt a mortal blow to Superferry. The steamship service of the 19th century was over. The sea flight of the 1970s was gone. Now Superferry was in irons, doomed to go down like lead. After 8 years of raising capital, building award-winning ferries, and dealing with bureaucracy and activism, Superferry gave up. It shut down, let its 300 employees go, filed bankruptcy, and sold the 2 ferries. The body count included thousands of local riders, farmers, and businesses. Wall Street took a bath. Local efforts to buy the ferries back failed. Legislative attempts to create a ferry authority and provide tax and harbor fee incentives also failed. The silence has been deafening. In the wake of Den Inouye's death, new funding won't be easy. The ocean, for us, is like breathing, and the need for a ferry is just as pressing as it was before. But so are the pitfalls. If we take another try, how can we be sure it won't meet the same fate? The sharp edges are still out there, and the silent majority is still, well, silent. Can we start again? Joe Suki has a record of supporting ferry legislation, so maybe his is a time for rapprochement. First, we need to understand what made Superferry such a pariah. Then we need to do ho'oponopono and fashion a publicly owned solution. The challenge is not with the people who would take a ferry from Oahu to the neighbor islands. It's with the people on the neighbor islands who like being remote and don't want people from Oahu to come around, as in this year's Molokai blockade. In the war on Superferry, so many questionable arguments were spun that you wondered what the real problem was. And for these reasons, we would deny ferry service to the people of Hawaii. The common thread is an inter-island NIMBY calling for separatism, if not balkanization, rather than statewide ohana. The right discussion is not about building barriers. It's about the fundamental relationship among the islands. Incredible as it may seem, now 200 years after unification, we still need to unify. The choices we make in transportation are of huge consequence. How can we achieve our potential if we can't get around? We cannot afford to abandon opportunities that will bind and strengthen our state. That is and must be the best policy of state government. We've had enough rending of garments and gnashing of teeth. The new year is a great time for starting again. What do you say, Joe?
We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of ThinkTech, but first we want to thank our underwriters.
Thanks to the Scheidler Family Foundation, which supports a number of educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including ThinkTech.
Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Miko on Maui and Helco on the Big Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company, and CEO of CBI Polymers, a tech company in Hawaii.
The High Tech Development Corporation, the state's leading technology agency attached to the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism.
Castle & Cook, Hawaii, with a time-honored legacy that spans more than 160 years and revolves around its mission of investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state.
Hawaii Gas, also known as the Gas Company, a proponent of the Liquefied Natural Gas Initiative, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future.
Okay, Duke, that wraps up this week's edition of ThinkTech. Remember, you can watch ThinkTech on OC16 several times every week. Can't get enough of it, just like Duke does. For additional times, check out OC16.tv.
You bet, Jay. For lots more ThinkTech videos and for underwriting and sponsorship opportunities on ThinkTech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a sponsor or a volunteer and help us reach Hawaii.
I'm Jay Fidell. Thanks so much for joining us on ThinkTech. You can watch this show throughout the week and tune in next Sunday evening for our next important weekly episode.
And I'm Duke Oishi. Aloha, everyone.